I'm reacting to an interview from one of my friends, a friend of the show, with Eric McLean, former Clemson offensive lineman, one of the winningest, if not the winningest player ever in Clemson football history, and now ESPN personality. And this is a little different for me, but I want to tell you straight up, I really enjoyed the interview. I was shocked at some of the things that he said. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to watch this video together, and then I'm going to pause it from time to time and give my thoughts on it. I hope you enjoy this. It's definitely a change from what I normally do, but we'll dive into that in just a second and have a little bit of fun. I would tell you, I'm telling you, this is really good interview, and he offers some thoughts that I haven't thought about. Maybe I agree with some of it, maybe not so much. Maybe kind of in the middle. Who cares? Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. If you love Clemson football, I hope you'll subscribe and pass this along to all your friends, your neighbors, your clergymen, and so on. Remember, subscribing is free. And also, I want to send out a special thanks to Section 103 for supporting the channel, sponsoring the channel. They dropped their collection back on December the 3rd. And it is just, man, it's incredible. I'm wearing one of the polos right now. You want to talk about comfortable, complimentary clothing? You're like, did you just come up with that? Yes, I did. But these are just designs that we're all familiar with. If you love Clemson, you know about Howard's Rock. You know about Two Right Turns. You know about Clemson House, all the way down to the clever Clemson blue cheese shirt. You got to go check it out. So if you want to go over there and buy something for your wife, for your kids, for yourself, for your grandma, I'm telling you, you'll thank me. There's a link below this video to section103.com. Go over there and use the one-time use promo code Tigers10 for 10% off your order. And I'm going to give you the inside scoop. Go over there and load up, then use that 10% code, right? Go ahead and do it. This is a good way to make a good decision. I'm going to stop trying so hard, but I'm going to see, I love this shirt and it feels great, looks great, and so on. I always get a lot of compliments. So thank you to Section 103 for sponsoring the show. All right, without further ado, whatever the crap that means, I am actually going to share my screen, and we are going to watch this video together. I'm really looking forward to this. So here we go. I'm going to start her up. It's a little different for me.
A little bit about Clemson for a minute. And I know
do we have to?
Yeah, I was going to say we'll get to Florida State here in a minute, so you can. We'll both suffer after having some fun. Just big picture, and I they're not, same thing with Florida State. Like, they haven't been featured as much just because they haven't been winning enough. Now, kind of a good finish to the season. The bowl game I don't care as much about, but kind of a good finish to the season. Like, Dabo showed a lot of passion there late in the year when they got a big win on a Friday night at Louisville, and they were all excited. But, like, just thoughts on where they are as a program, and can you expect kind of a bounce back, maybe not to like the glory days, but a bounce back to just respectability?
Yeah, I hope so, right? I think so too. But last year was such a shock. It's kind of hard. Like, it's kind of, I'm in the mode now. And listen, I'm a former player, former captain, played in a national championship. I have 2 degrees. Like, I love that place. Let's not, get it twisted in any form or fashion. But, when you get burned of that magnitude where you're thinking this is the number 1 team in the country, this is the national champions, and they win 7 games. I mean, that's tough. That's brutal to see with the talent that they had. And I saw somebody put out a list the other day, and they had 5 top 50, prospects for the NFL draft that's coming up. How does that have 6 losses? How does that only have 7 wins? I mean, that's crazy to sit here and think about that on top of the talent that's still there. I mean, look at these wide receivers that are going to be monsters that all stayed. Look at some of the defensive linemen and linebackers. And, so it's one of those things, brother, where
this game.
All right. This is something I'm having to navigate. Y'all forgive me. I'm just going to kill the sound and skip it and get back to it.
Kind of frustrated. And it's not that I don't trust the man, because I totally do with my entire being, but you just have to see it. And it's one of those things where I don't have high expectation for Clemson this year. And it's one of those where I think the respectability part is yeah, can we get back to that? Can we get back to me not watching the tape and seeing loafs or seeing crazy MAs that make no sense, like linemen that have been there for 4 years just going the wrong way? I mean, things of that nature, that's what frustrates me to the nth degree. If you get beat, if you just lose, is what it is. It's a game.
Yeah.
There's only one winner. That's
Yeah.
hard. But when you beat yourself, that's where just I pull my hair out. It's all gone. It's one of those things. So, I think the addition of Chad Morris is fascinating because when it, to be totally transparent, when that first happened, I was like, I don't know about.
All right. I'm going to pause for just a second. This video is only 11 minutes and 14 seconds long. There's more sections to this TJ will be releasing. And TJ didn't let me know that he was interviewing with Eric McLean. I just ran upon this and great job, TJ. Great job so far, Eric. And overall, I've watched the video. It's a really good job and a lot of really good points. I want to talk about what he just said there for just a moment. Okay. And I'm going to go back to, I'm just going to hang here. I'm not going to switch the views up. You know what I'll look like. For some of you, like, unfortunately. I love what he said there. Do you notice he showed respect to Coach Swinney? And then turned around and goes, basically, you can't help seeing what you're seeing. Right? Like you're just going to have to do it. And your preseason potential national champion, I never went there with y'all. I told y'all, I said, look, I'm not going to say that they're going to have to do a lot for me, but this could be a special season. I said that over and over. But we're all kind of on that plane there that last year was not supposed to be 7-6. Anyone who even hated Clemson and maybe had a little too much to drink would have still looked at you and told you you were absolutely a moron if you thought Clemson would go 7-6 last year. It's like, dude, you would have Gamecocks looking at you going, yeah, in my wildest dreams, but that's not going to happen. And it did. So to see Eric McLean, Mr. Clemson, to see Eric McLean, he's the representative for Clemson football in all of ESPN. He's taken up for them. Most of the time I've agreed with him, and there's been sometimes I'm sitting there going, Eric, I don't know you, dude. I don't mean this bad. Seems like you're taking up for your old head coach. To hear him say this, folks, and by the way, I can't blame him for that. But to hear him say this, you notice he started off with respect, but he said, hey, look, you can't overlook this. And here's the next part. If we follow our assignments and we get beat, okay. That's just the game. That's the reason you form a team, you build a stadium, you hand out scholarships, we're supposed to go out there and give your very best effort. But when you have players who they've been in the program for a long time, and it looks like a 2-star playing in their freshman season. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that. What the crap's happening, man? What the craps is happening? So I want to get back to the video here. He's about to talk about Chad Morris, and that's the reason I paused this, is because what he's about to say about Chad Morris offers some thoughts to me to consider. It doesn't change my mind, but it offers some thoughts to consider. But listen to his reaction about Chad Morris. And by the way, I've heard a little bit of this before, but anyway, get back to him talking about Chad Morris. Here we go.
About that, it feels weird. Like what? Why? And then hearing him and seeing his vision and understanding how he's approaching this. Pretty jacked up. I like it. I kind of like his attitude. I like the way he's thinking about this. He understands, the game has changed, and he was the architect that got Clemson to places it had never been before. And so I think they're now, after kind of hearing, seeing, whatever, kind of his attitude and mindset. And really, I mean, he had some fire. Like he was kind of just about, we're going to do things differently. And I like that. You know, I think you have to have that. So
I was doing a little editing there. So there we go.
Spring ball certainly will be fun, you know, just to see that. And I hope I make it up there to see a couple practices, things.
Pause there. He was saying basically he was talking some trash, you know, and that excited him. I was just trying to edit it, censor it for some of our audience out there. But that's the reason I paused that there. But he's saying that Chad Morris was like talking trash, and it excites him to, and that I like the competitive edge too. You know. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up.
That nature, but that does excite me a bit. Just the fact that they're going to take shots, they're going to commit to the run, things that Clemson hadn't done the last 3 years under Garrett Riley. So
I mean this with all respect, Eric. 4 years, and I know the 3 years with Garrett Riley are 100%. We have not seen that happen in the past 4 seasons. So and I've said this, folks. I believe that the offense will get better under Chad Morris. Okay, I'll let Eric do his thing.
So I think strictly from that, you will see improvement. You will see a different, better team because of those receivers I mentioned. You can't not throw the ball downfield. I mean, just do it. Let those guys make a play one way or the other. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you have the infusion of talent. Going and getting 10 transfers. I think 9 of those are on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. Guys that Tom Allen handpicked that are faster, longer, things of that nature that he wants for his defense. Now, are you losing some superstars? Yes. But are you gaining some hungrier, more excited about their opportunity guys? Possibly. And we'll see how that translates. So,
all right. Really good point. Really, really good point there. Really good point. When I went to the Troy game, it looked like almost every one of the football players had found out their favorite person was deceased. And some of the coaches as well. A lot of the coaches. We saw Jaheim Lawson play a backup role and walk out there and show more fire. And I'm going to say it, TJ Parker, I know TJ Parker has a lot going for him. He's probably going to be picked in the first round. I haven't seen the new projections, but I'm going to tell you right now, Jaheim Lawson outplayed TJ Parker this year. I'm sorry. There, I said it. So, Jaheim Lawson will be back. But talking about hunger, he had more hunger than TJ Parker. That is one thing that I totally agree with him on. We need some hunger. We have not been seeing hunger. And I'm serious. No hunger. You find me a 2-star with hunger who will work, who will put in the energy, who will put in the reps, who realizes that they're scraping the bottom of the barrel and they can't afford to lax and chill out and blah, 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 blah. And they're not counting the NIL dollars that others are counting the NIL dollars. And they're like, I have to work for everything I get. Those will be some of the most dangerous, effective players, hands down. I know Will Helt was a big get in the transfer portal last year. And I'm not knocking Will. You know I'm not knocking him whatsoever. But follow my line of thinking here. He was still coming from Purdue. Sit in a dark room and think about that for a little bit. So I love that point. Great point. Maybe Tom Allen being able to go to the transfer portal and just find someone who's hungry could be the difference? Get back to this.
I do think there will be improvement, but I'm not allowing myself to get too excited thinking that it's ACC championship, national championship, or bust.
Agree.
With the addition of Tom Allen last year, who actually was here local in Tampa and is really good buddies with my high school coach. And so I was super excited about that from a personal level, but then also just like a Clemson level. Like I thought Clemson went out and picked up the best, Jim Knowles was there too. And obviously ended up at Penn State. And so he was up there too. But like I thought that was going to be the best addition, and their defense really at times just struggled. Your perspective on that, is that more of a? You talked about some of the loaves and missed assignments and stuff. Is that were the issues on defense more about just a lack of familiarity with the system? Like, is there a better jump coming maybe in year two? Was it the right guys, the right fit with him maybe? And so the transfers maybe factor in a little bit better to where, Clemson's defense used to just be like strike fear into people's hearts. And,
you kill people.
This year, not to take anything away from Duke, but you've got Duke coming in and putting up 46 in Death Valley. Like that, like think about that statement when you were playing. If Duke came in and put up 46.
That wasn't happening when I was playing, let me tell you.
No discredit to the current champions, but still. Like that's just like that doesn't happen at Clemson, right?
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Thoughts on year two under Tom Allen? Hey guys, I'll get right back to the interview with Eric McLean of the ACC Network and former Clemson Tiger. If you appreciate this content or you just like the perspective that Eric's bringing you, this is part one of a 3-part series I'm doing with Eric. Would love if you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss the other 2 parts. We appreciate both his time today and you guys for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to ACC Football Addiction so that you don't miss anything there. You may already be subscribed to College Football Addiction, but this is our ACC-only channel. So if you haven't subscribed here as well, do me a favor.
Go subscribe. I have the link below, seriously.
Right back to the interview. Here we go.
I think it's going to be so different because the personnel, I mean, literally, you're talking about like 7 starters changed. And so it's going to be a totally different looking thing. And I think the odd thing was the pass defense was so horrific. I mean, it was the worst that I think Dabo has ever had in his era being at Clemson. And so there was a lot of weird reasons for that. You speak of Duke. I mean, we have a safety who's transferred to Georgia, and they're really excited about it. The game's going into halftime. You have one job, get deep, and he's like playing the middle of the field, the short middle, and there's a 70-yard touchdown happening behind him, and you're just like, what? Why does this keep happening? Why do guys keep running wide open and free? And obviously Clemson made a change at the safety coach position and hired, Tom Allen's son there. And, coach thinks he's going to be a beast. He thinks he's going to be a coordinator before long. And so having that addition of talent, not only on the field, but in the coaching ranks, how does that affect? So I certainly think there will be improvements. I think there were improvements. It's weird. It's like they improved some places. They got drastically worse other places on the defense. And so can you meet in the middle somewhere and, have a respectable defense? And then we start getting back to, imposing fear and what, oh my gosh, where are they coming from? What coverage are they showing? They know what we're doing, all these different things. I think that starts to crank up either towards the end of the season or next year.
Let's talk about the right there. God, good grief. There's so many things that I could I don't even know what to. There's like 50 things in one mouth. 50 things I want to say in one mouth. So here we go. Blech. Bunch of guys in here. Got John Answers in here. We got Roger Parks, a longtime supporter of the channel. James Thompson, Tiger Tom in here. Jacob Geddes said Brian Wilhelt had a good year. Yes, he had a really, really good year, but I'm just saying that what I was trying to, and maybe I didn't make this point well just a second ago, when I was talking about Wilhelt, when we got him out of Purdue. It wasn't like we got him out of Ohio State. And he came in hungry and outperformed so many people. Both of their eyes are closed at the same time, and I just realized that I'm going to unpause because it almost looks like they're doing synchronized blinking. Synchronized blinking. This is great. I'm just going to okay, there we go. All right, now only TJ is kind of Tiger in the Burrow, Grumpy Clemson fan, Mega Cujo's in here, Dark Sada. Anyway, good to see you in here. A bunch of people in here. James Scott, Tal Pollard. Y'all are all in here doing your thing. I really do appreciate it. 8 Dogs Barking. Good to see y'all. Thank you so much for being in here, folks. Hope you leave a comment in here. I have 119 of you in here watching this, doing something very different. I'm reacting to Eric McLean's interview with TJ. I just ran across this haphazardly tonight, and I was like, man, this is really, really good stuff. So I wanted to react to this. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It is free. All right. Now, let's get back to what he was talking about. The Clemson defense allowed the Clemson offense to have no identity from about the last part of when Tony was there. Tony and Jeff were the magic. I'm not taking away from Tony completely, but I'm telling you, Tony and Jeff together was like Batman and Robin. And it was really like Batman and Batman together. I mean, it was such a incredible duo. But especially after Tony left, things got weird. And the defense was so doggone good, you could run them out there. You could run them out there and they could make the stops that they needed to make while the offense still farted around, and it would afford you a 10-win season. Until it didn't. And so the defense falling off the wagon was the major thing that people really started noticing. Oh, Clemson's starting to struggle a little bit. No. The defense was that doggone dominant for a very long time that even when the offense started losing its identity, the defense kept you in there to where you could win 10 wins. You could have 10 wins. You could go to the excuse me, you could go to the ACC championship. You could win it. You could get to the Orange Bowl. This is pre-12-team playoff. And then it all fell apart. And he's right. I don't know what happened to Khalil Barnes, but Khalil Barnes started going rogue in his sophomore season. You know that I've praised Khalil Barnes. And there is a reason that Georgia is thrilled to get him. We'll see exactly what happens. But he's 100% right. That secondary was just, I mean, overall, you're like, I've seen high school secondaries perform better than this. And so with all of that said, I like his approach that we know that 2026 is a wash. By the way, I did my preview, way too early preview of the Clemson season for 2026. I did that last night. It's an hour long. It teach you a little trick. If you go down here, look at this. If you go down here and hit that little gear, you can actually speed it up here. So speed up the video. You know me. I give a lot of detail, sometimes too much. Sometimes I ramble. Sometimes it happens. With that said, I broke down each game and why I felt like Clemson would win or lose each game. And I want to tell you, this upcoming season, well, you can go watch the video. But I think if you watch me long enough, and if you have half a brain, even if you've never seen me and you're so optimistic that you ooze orange and white, even you don't believe we'll win 10 games next year. And if you do, there's a couple of psychiatric facilities I can recommend. If you want a Christian retreat, I know a couple of Christian organizations that'll take you in for 6 months, take your phone, make sure you're not, I don't know, abusing Pepto-Bismol or whatever your vice is, and they'll help you to where you'll realize that Clemson ain't winning no 10 games next year, unless it's by forfeit. He sees this. I see this. But he's talking about if we can just get the defense just to be a little better. I said yesterday, and I'll say this, and then we're getting back to this video. I believe that the defense could be a touch better. I don't see the defense being a lot better. I hope I'm wrong. So Here we go. Let's go back to here.
Player perspective, since you've been there and you've done it, and I know that Clemson was a little bit different spot when you were there, but last year they went into the season with so many expectations, and when that was quickly pulled out from under them, it kind of similar. Now the season wasn't as disastrous, but kind of similar to Florida State in 24. It felt like when your season was over before September was over. It feels like, what do you really have to play for, right? Like, and I understand like the intrinsic, like, man, we go out and we give our all and all these things, but does maybe just the reset of expectation for this specific year, not necessarily the program expectation, can that help? Like, it's not national title or bust like it was last year when you're coming back with Cade and you're coming back with all this talent. It's kind of just, instead of being the hunted, we are the hunter. Can that help from a player perspective of we've got something a little more to fight for?
I would think so, just because that is a lot of pressure, right? And listen, I never dealt with that as a player because we were building. And my senior year, everyone thought it'd be the next year that Clemson was really good. Now they were, and they won the Natty. But that year we were 14-0, number one, wire to wire in the college football playoff rankings there, and played for a national championship. No one expected that. So we didn't have this insurmountable pressure on our quarterback, on our team of you've got to win. You got to win every game. We just did, and maybe that team can harness this. Maybe that team can do this because they did finish well. Again, bowl game was disastrous. Like you said, who cares? Did we watch? Do we not? But they went on a great run there. And it started with, getting, that loss to Duke in the Valley where, that's not good. You just keep losing at home. Like that's kind of the starting point, is defend home turf there, get that back to being what it's supposed to be, but also just play free. No one expects anything from you. You're living in the shadows right now. And what do you do with that? What are you able to harness? And what can you make sure you feel on the inside that then that starts to go outward? I think that's important because it may be what happened last year is all that pressure outside started getting in. And it was insurmountable for him.
I will not speak for Eric McLean because, he can speak for himself. But I'm going to tell you what. I will guarantee you the coaching staff that was there when he was on Clemson's football team, when they were doing the pre-run up to the national championship, he played in that 2015 team is one of Dabo's best teams ever, and they didn't win the national championship. In fact, they were better than the team that did win the national championship, in my opinion. How was that, Brian? Go look at the numbers. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. With that said, if the team that he was on and the coaching staff that he was on, met the Clemson team that just played the 2025 season and that will play the 2026 season, they would run up 60 points easy on them. And next, I think that if that coaching staff saw anything out of their team that we've seen over the past 5 seasons, I think they would have got themselves a nice, sturdy, well-made tube sock and fill it with the hardest bars of soap that's been outside in the ice and beat them until they were in a coma. Because that is how terrible we have been seeing this. But I take that back to a point. I think that they would beat one another because the players can only be developed as far as their coaches can develop them, unless they're going to work hard all the time by themselves and hire private instruction. So I kind of take that back. But the team that Eric McLean was on was nothing like what we've been seeing. And then another thing he said right there, no one expects anything of you. Folks, isn't it terrible that no one expects anything of Clemson anymore? Well, that's because we won so much. Now all of us think we're entitled to winning. So you now believe that you're entitled to losing? Someone needs to call Nick Saban and tell him that he had it wrong, man. If you said that to Kirk Signetti, he would physically assault you. Maybe back over you with a car and go, "You're a loser. Get away from me. I'm afraid some of that weird funk will rub off on me. Get away from me. I don't want to even breathe the same air as you." It's sad that no one expects anything of Clemson anymore. If you would have told us 8 years ago that this is where we would be, we would have laughed you out of your seat. And if you were standing, we would have laughed you into a seat.
Eric, I know it's the offseason now, but what do you guys have going on? Where can people follow you? Yeah. What are you on right now as far as shows and different things that you've got going? I know you do a podcast as well.
That's the end of that at this point. And he talks about some of the shows. I know that he and Kelly Gramlich, I believe it is, they have a show together. He and Aaron Murray have a show together. Of course, he is he is on ESPN, the ACC network. So go check out TJ's new channel. The link is below, College Football Addiction ACC channel. And just give some closing thoughts here. There's 105 of you in here. I appreciate y'all being in here. I hope wherever you're at, you're nice and warm. I got out today and rode around the upstate, and it was nice to see that a lot of the snow had melted, but if it was in like a shady area, dude, you were hitting sheets of ice. Anyway, I was hitting sheets of ice. You weren't. Hopefully you weren't. But I appreciate you being in here tonight. Y'all stick with me for just a second. And I want to say this. I want to say this. Here's another angle that I take with this interview. Okay? I never played at Clemson. I never sat in an office with Coach Swinney and he was my coach. Never. This guy did. I've never played in the big games like this guy did. This guy is going to give as much benefit of the doubt to the man who led him, who gave him a chance, and he should. He is going to take up for Clemson when you have all of these former football players and TV personalities ripping Clemson like just a bunch of hillbillies. Meanwhile, their school is cheating and stealing and killing and destroying and has every attribute of Satan left and right. And he's not going to take it, and I appreciate that. Here's the other angle. Things have got so bad at Clemson that he's doing it in a very respectful way to Coach Swinney. But he's even sitting there going, "Y'all, what is going on, man? I know Mensa is good, but Duke ran up 46 points on you." No one expects anything of you. And he talked about that people didn't expect anything out of them. But here's the funny thing. They walked out on the field being much disrespected, and they just beat you. And there was nothing you could do about it. The teams that he was on beat Lamar flipping Jackson when they were when they were like top 5, top 6 coming into Death Valley. That last year, that 2015 team, I'm telling you, should have won the national championship. You go back and you look at all the haters go, Clemson never played anybody. Yeah, most teams would absolutely fall apart if they played that 2015 schedule. And he was part of that team. He knows what excellence looks like. And even he's sitting there going, this ain't it. But he's being very respectful about it. If this guy who respectfully critiques the Tigers is saying this stuff, he's making these comments very respectful, very optimistic, giving the benefit of the doubt, as he should. You know that there's other guys who are not as careful, and I don't want to say careful, I mean that in a respectful way, who are not as tactful as he is. He does a very good job in front of a camera. A lot of athletes can't speak in front of a camera. And to each their own. But he can. He does a good job. But if he is sitting there going, what is going on? We saw the tweets this year from former Clemson players. We saw questions, what's going on, I'm telling you, it's not just me sitting here being the overly critical, negative. Brian, we don't need the negativity. Hey, listen, bud, you can sit, and I'm not saying this towards Eric at all, or this, that was a great video. Kudos to TJ for having him on. It really, really, really good video. Y'all go over there and subscribe. I'm talking about me here. I'm just going to say it right now. I get so flipping tired of hearing about, you're just negative, and I just wish you would what, lie? Well, give the benefit of the doubt. Well, let me see. Quarterback who we haven't developed in 3 years is going to be our starting quarterback. Well, maybe Chad Morris can fix in 8 months what we couldn't develop in 3 years, and that's not Vizina's fault. Oh, let me see. We've lost a bunch of players. And as he said, you have what, 5 top 50 players going into the draft. How do you lose 6 ball games? Well, they didn't play the last 5 ball games. The negativity and the crassness, and I wish that you wish what? Like, why am I the bad guy? Like, really? You could have said it differently. I'm sorry, honey. Maybe you and I can go on a husband and wife retreat, and we can work this out. And I can learn how I can just learn how to be different. I can just, maybe we can put on some Barry Manilow and, if maybe some Michael Bolton, with the long hair. How am I supposed to live? I'm not going to lie to you, y'all. Again, this deals nothing with Eric. This is just me venting. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's got so bad in Clemson that even the legacy media that would give the benefit of the doubt to Dabo if he drug an 80-year-old woman to the 50-yard line, her in her blue hair, and shot her square between the eyes, and they would take up for it. Even they can't take up for him now. You can't. They can't. Just saying. Just throwing that out there, folks. With all that said, the link to that video is below here. No. The link to the channel. You can go to the channel and subscribe. TJ's channel is growing, so go over there and check it out. Let him know. Go in that comment section. Let him know that you heard about the video, watched it on my channel. I hope you'll do that. Send it over there. Go over there and do that. He's a friend of the show's. Really, really enjoyed what Eric had to say. I think he offered some really, really good points. Maybe this is where Chad Morris is going to come out and say, guys, I feel like I have something to prove. And that's probably going to be one of my next videos. What Chad Chad Morris has to prove, and maybe that could work in our favor. I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. I hope so. Absolutely. All right, folks. Y'all go over there and check that out. If you haven't subscribed here yet, I hope you will. It is free, and I do appreciate it. Pass it along to all your friends, neighbors, and, well, whoever. I don't care if you're in jail right now. If you just want to subscribe, I ain't going to stop you. Also, in a special thanks to Section 103. One last look at all those incredible designs, products, hats, pullovers, T-shirts. I'm telling you, it feels great. Go over there and check it out. The link's below here, section103.com. And, well, check it out. You will thank me. Y'all take care of yourself. I hope you stay warm. Catch you next